The worst moment happened in the middle of the night, deep inside a dark forest in northern Minnesota. The wind was cold, the trees were tall, and the forest felt too quiet. My friend Tyler was shaking as he pointed his flashlight into the trees. "That thing, it followed us," he whispered. I slowly turned my head. At first I saw nothing. Just trees, fog, and darkness. Then something moved. A tall shape stepped out from behind a pine tree. It was thin and too tall to be a person. Its arms were long. Its eyes shined pale in the dark. And worst of all, it spoke in a voice that sounded exactly like my friend Jason. "Help me. Ryan, please help me." But Jason was standing right next to me. My heart started beating so fast it hurt. Tyler dropped his fishing pole. The creature took another step closer, and I could hear bones cracking inside its body. Then it smiled. That was the moment I knew the stories about Skinwalkers and Wendigos were real. But the worst part was this. That wasn't the only creature we saw that night. And it wasn't the first strange thing that happened during our trip. The truth is, everything started earlier that evening when we made the biggest mistake of our lives. We took the wrong road into the forest. And that is how our nightmare began. My name is Ryan Carter. I'm 24 years old, and I live in Colorado. I love camping, fishing, and exploring the outdoors. My friends are the same way. We always try to find new places to explore. Last fall, my friends Tyler, Jason, Mark, and I planned a weekend camping trip in Minnesota. Tyler had found a remote lake online. He said it was perfect for fishing and camping. "No tourists," Tyler said with a smile. "Just us and nature." Jason laughed. "That means no rules and no park rangers." We all thought it sounded perfect. The drive took almost 9 hours. The farther north we drove, the more empty the roads became. Small towns turned into long stretches of forest. Gas stations became rare. By the time the sun started going down, we were deep in the woods. Mark checked the GPS, the lake should be about 20 minutes away. But something strange happened. The GPS stopped working. The screen froze and started spinning. "Great," Jason said. "Technology always fails when you need it." Tyler looked around the road. "Relax. The map said this road goes straight to the lake." The road became smaller and rougher as we drove. Trees leaned over the road like they were watching us. The sky turned dark blue as night came. Then we saw the first strange sign. A wooden board stood beside the road. It was old and broken. The words were carved into it with a knife. "Turn back." Jason laughed. Someone's idea of a joke. But Mark looked uncomfortable. "That's not paint," he said quietly. "Those letters were carved." Tyler kept driving. A few minutes later we reached the lake. It was beautiful and quiet. The moon reflected on the water. Tall trees surrounded the shore. We parked the truck and started setting up our tents. At first, everything felt normal. We built a campfire. Jason cooked hot dogs. Tyler started telling ghost stories like he always does. "People say these forests have cryptids," Tyler said with a grin. Mark rolled his eyes. "You mean monsters?" "Not monsters," Tyler said. "Things people don't understand." Jason laughed. "Like Bigfoot?" Tyler shrugged. "Or skinwalkers." I had heard that word before. "Aren't those from Native American stories?" I asked. Tyler nodded. "They can copy voices. They can change shape. And they hunt people who wander into the wrong places." Mark threw a stick into the fire. "Well, good thing those are just stories." For a while we just sat around the fire talking and laughing. But then something strange happened. We heard footsteps in the woods. Crunch, crunch, crunch. We all stopped talking. Tyler looked into the darkness. "Did you guys hear that?" Jason stood up and grabbed his flashlight. "Probably a deer." The footsteps stopped. Everything went quiet again. Too quiet. No birds. No wind. Just silence. Then we heard it. A voice. "Hello." It sounded like a man calling from far away. Jason frowned. "Did someone else camp here?" Tyler shook his head. There were no other cars. The voice came again. Hello, can someone help me? It sounded weak and tired. Mark stood up. Someone might be lost. Jason grabbed the flashlight and started walking toward the trees. Let's go check. Tyler followed him. I didn't want to go, but I didn't want to stay alone either. So I followed them into the forest. The trees were thick and dark. Our flashlights barely lit the ground. Hello. Jason called. No answer. We walked deeper. Then we heard the voice again. But this time it sounded closer. Jason. Jason froze. That sounded like you, Mark said slowly. Jason shook his head. I didn't say anything. Then the voice spoke again. And this time it sounded exactly like Tyler. Ryan, help me. Tyler's face turned pale. I didn't say that. My stomach felt cold. The voice came again from deeper in the forest. Come here. Jason whispered, okay, that's not funny anymore. The bushes suddenly moved. Something tall stepped behind a tree. We all pointed our flashlights at the same time. But nothing was there. Just empty woods. Tyler grabbed my arm. We should go back. We turned around and walked quickly toward camp. But something felt wrong. The forest looked different. The trees were thicker. The ground sloped downward. Mark stopped walking. Guys, this isn't the way back. My chest tightened. We walked straight, Jason said. But the campfire light was gone. The forest had swallowed us. Then we heard it again. Crunch. 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 Something was walking behind us. Slowly. Matching our steps. Jason turned around quickly and shined his flashlight. For a second we saw it. A tall shape between the trees. Too tall. Too thin. Then it moved away. Tyler whispered, Did you see that? Nobody answered. Because we had all seen it. We started walking faster. The footsteps behind us started moving faster too. Crunch. 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 Mark began to panic. We need to run. But Jason shook his head. If we run, we might get more lost. Then the voice came again. But this time it sounded like Mark. Wait, guys, wait for me. Mark looked terrified. That wasn't me. The bushes behind us shook violently. Something huge was moving through the trees. Branches snapped. Heavy footsteps slammed against the ground. Then a terrible sound filled the forest. A long, deep scream. Not human. Not animal. Something else. Jason whispered one word. Wendigo. And then the creature stepped out of the darkness. But what we saw next was even worse than we imagined. The creature stepped out of the darkness slowly, and for a moment none of us could move. The moonlight touched its body through the trees. It was tall, much taller than any person. Its body looked thin like it was starving. Long arms hung beside it, almost reaching its knees. Its skin looked grey and tight, like it was stretched over sharp bones. But the worst part was its face. Its mouth was too wide, and its eyes looked pale and empty, like it had been dead for years. Tyler whispered with a shaking voice, That's not real. The creature tilted its head, watching us like we were animals. Then it opened its mouth. And it spoke. Ryan. My blood turned cold. It sounded exactly like my little brother. My brother was hundreds of miles away at home. Jason slowly stepped back. Don't listen to it, he said quietly. That's what skinwalkers do. They copy voices. Mark grabbed my arm. We need to leave. Now. The creature took one slow step forward. Crunch. Its bones made a horrible cracking sound as it moved. Then suddenly it began running. Not toward us. Around us. It circled the trees quickly, moving faster than anything that tall should move. Branches snapped everywhere. We panicked. Run! Tyler shouted. All four of us started running through the forest. Branches hit our faces as we pushed through the dark trees. The ground was uneven and slippery. Behind us, the creature ran too. We could hear it crashing through the woods. But something strange happened. The footsteps multiplied. One creature sounded like 3. 3 sounded like 5. The forest was full of movement. Jason shouted while running, "There's more than one." My chest felt like it would explode. My legs were burning, but I didn't stop. Then Mark tripped. He fell hard onto the dirt. "Mark!" Tyler yelled. Jason and I stopped and pulled him up. Behind us the forest suddenly went quiet. Too quiet. The footsteps stopped. We all stood there breathing heavily. Tyler whispered, "Maybe we lost it." But then we heard a voice right behind us. "Guys, wait for me." We turned slowly. A person stepped out from behind a tree. It looked exactly like Mark. Same jacket. Same face. Same voice. But the real Mark was standing beside us. Jason's voice shook. "Don't move." The fake Mark smiled. But the smile was wrong. Too wide. Too slow. Its eyes looked empty. Then its mouth opened wider than any human mouth could. A horrible screech burst out of it. Mark screamed, "Run!" We ran again. This time we didn't stop. We crashed through bushes and jumped over fallen logs. Finally, after what felt like forever, we saw something ahead. Light. The orange glow of our campfire. "We're back!" Tyler shouted. We rushed out of the trees and into the campsite. Everyone collapsed near the fire. For several minutes, nobody spoke. We just sat there breathing hard and staring into the woods. Jason finally spoke. "That thing, it copied Mark." Mark looked sick. And it was smiling at us. Tyler grabbed a flashlight and pointed it at the forest. The trees stood still and silent. Nothing moved. After a while, Jason tried to laugh. Maybe we imagined it. But nobody laughed. Because we all knew what we saw. I stood up and walked to the truck. "We should leave," I said. Tyler nodded immediately. "Yeah, let's get out of here." But when Jason tried to start the truck, the engine wouldn't turn. He tried again. Click. Nothing. Jason frowned. "Battery's dead." "That's impossible," Mark said. "We just drove here." Jason tried again. Click. Still nothing. Tyler rubbed his face nervously. "Okay, so we wait until morning." None of us liked that idea. But we had no choice. So we added more wood to the fire and stayed close together. Hours passed. The forest stayed quiet. Around midnight, Mark finally fell asleep near the fire. Jason sat awake watching the trees. Tyler stared at the lake. I tried to relax, but something felt wrong. The air felt colder. The wind had stopped. The water in the lake looked perfectly still. Then Tyler whispered something. "Ryan, look." I turned toward the lake. At first I didn't see anything. Then I saw a shape standing on the shore across the water. A tall figure. Watching us. Jason stood up quickly and aimed his flashlight. The beam touched the figure. And we all froze. It looked like a deer. But it wasn't normal. It was standing on 2 legs. Its body looked thin and twisted. Its head was a deer skull with long antlers. The thing slowly turned its head toward us. Then it began walking along the edge of the lake. Jason whispered one word. "Wendigo." The creature suddenly stopped walking. Then it lifted its head toward the sky. And it screamed. The sound was horrible. Like metal scraping against metal mixed with a human cry. The forest answered. From every direction, we heard movement. Branches breaking. Footsteps running. Voices calling our names. Ryan. Tyler. Jason. Mark. The voices came from the forest. From the lake. From behind us. Mark woke up suddenly. "What's happening?" Tyler pointed toward the trees. And that's when we saw them. More shapes moving between the trees. Tall. Thin. Watching us. Jason whispered, "We're surrounded." The Wendigo by the lake stepped closer. The creatures in the forest stepped closer. The fire suddenly flickered low. And then something stepped out of the darkness right behind Mark. But when Mark turned around to see what it was, he screamed. The light beneath the water. By the time Daniel reached the edge of the lake again, The fog had thickened. It hung low over the water, glowing faintly blue in the moonlight. The same strange light he had seen the night before pulsed beneath the surface. This time it was brighter. Daniel stopped at the broken wooden dock. The boards creaked under his shoes as he stepped forward. The forest behind him was completely silent. No wind. No insects. Nothing. Only the lake. The water moved slowly, like something deep below was breathing. Daniel crouched and shined his flashlight across the surface. The beam cut through the fog, but it didn't reach far. The blue glow below the water flickered again, stronger now. Then something moved. At first he thought it was a shadow. But the shape was too large, and it was coming closer. A ripple spread across the lake. Then another. Daniel's chest tightened. His mind told him to run, but his legs wouldn't move. The glow surged upward. Suddenly the water near the dock bubbled. A dark shape passed just beneath the surface, long and slow, like a massive silhouette sliding through the lake. Daniel stumbled backward. The old dock groaned loudly. The bubbling stopped. For a moment the lake went perfectly still. Then the blue light vanished. Daniel stood there breathing hard, staring into the black water. Whatever had been there was gone. Or hiding. He turned to leave. That's when he noticed something new. Wet footprints. They started at the edge of the lake. And they were leading toward the forest. Daniel slowly lifted his flashlight. The footprints were huge. And they were fresh.